Hello and welcome back to the Aapna Reds podcast, the podcast that gives you everything you'd expect from a Liverpool and football podcast, but with the added Punjabi power that the two of us bring here. And we are back with the third episode of our podcast that'll probably be posted on the third day of the new month, talking about Arne Slot's third game in charge and Liverpool scoring 3 goals at Old Trafford. To talk about everything that went on, because I think we're all in shock, is Anil, put into words what a crazy, crazy game we saw yesterday.
Man, I think, like I said earlier, I think I'm just smiling the way Chiesa did when he signed. Cannot believe what we saw on the weekend, man. Put it into words. Fantastic, man. There's no other word, is there? Absolutely fantastic. There was nothing wrong with that performance whatsoever. Just unbelievable. And he made it look easy. But we'll get into specifics in a second. But yeah, man.
I think first thing first, I think we need to get it on the screen and just let everyone enjoy it. The fact that United got absolutely humbled on their home turf. And you know what? I don't even know what the point of them turning up was, because if all their fans were going to go home at half time or go home after 60 minutes, they shouldn't even bother turning up. But let's get into it then. We said on the podcast last week, we were a bit concerned, a bit nervous. Obviously, they'd lost. We know what United like after they lose. And I think after about 20 minutes or so, even the first 10 minutes, it looked like they had a bit of a response go in. They looked really up for it. We looked a bit under the sort of the cosh early doors. But what changed after the first 10 minutes, do you think?
You know what it is? I think Liverpool are a team that build in confidence. Every game we've played so far, we've started not slow, but you kind of, once you get that goal, Liverpool are a different animal. And last season, it was always, we were chasing. So we were a different animal because we were chasing. But now it seems to be, you get ahead and then they just find this different gear that allows them to just play casually, kind of. I know it wasn't, they worked their bloody socks off. But yeah, I think there's a renewed confidence that when you go ahead, rather than us being a team that you used to, like back in the day, maybe give a goal away and turn it into a dogfight. It seems to be if Liverpool go ahead, we're staying ahead and we're going to try and increase that. And I think that's what it is. I think obviously the disallowed Trent goal, that obviously built up a bit. I was a little bit worried that was maybe going to go in the wrong direction, you know, where you get that bit of bad decision and the mood just drops. But they just stepped it into a different gear. I mean, I know you called him Arnie Klopp earlier. I mean, but now
not far off.
I tell you what, Slot's come along and completely changed the way we thought about him as well.
Yeah, and I think that's what we expected in terms of Liverpool putting out a good performance, but it's not what we expected in terms of Arne Slot and how he set us up. I think, again, we said last week about Gravenberch and all the players, you know, being a big test of fire. And like you said, I think after the first 10 minutes in the disallowed goal, I was a bit concerned. I thought when we scored and, you know, Trent does his lovely celebration, thought it was all in vain. But I think a big talking point for me to start with is Luis Diaz. I thought he was absolutely ductivo for the first 10, 20 minutes. Everything he tried just didn't work. Just every pass was just, every touch was bouncing off him. And I thought...
Same old.
Honestly, I thought the ball was just allergic to him. And I thought he was going to get subbed after about 30 minutes. But somehow, first goal comes back with confidence. Luis Diaz. What did you make of it?
Again, I think, I don't know what it is about Liverpool's coaching, but I think they've got them on some next level training that has improved their stamina ridiculously. Because you look at some of the players now, I know Salah's always in good shape, but he's come back a different beast.
Yeah.
Diaz has come back a different beast. Szoboszlai, God knows where he's been. He's on some sort of Colombian sugar because he don't stop running. Gravenberch has become some, you know, player that we never knew we had.
Yeah.
Trent is doing what he does. Our defenders, Canata, flipping out. You could go through the whole squad. All of them just seem like they've got no end to the amount of energy they've got to put into a game. And they don't want to stop, which I'm not complaining. Listen, all good so far, innit? But yeah, I don't know, man. You tell me. Slot's come in. He's not had to change a team. He's got the same team. He's not had to change a desire because it's the same players. He's not had to change a system much because it pretty much picks itself. But he's done something, hasn't he? Because they seem to be playing with such a confidence and calmness. It does feel like a different team, even though on paper, well, not on paper, it is. It's the same team as last season.
Yeah,
What has he
I
done?
think
Ki jadoo kita ਉਹਨੇ?
he's done something and it's working. There's all we care about. But I was talking about this today with people, and I think what he's said to the players and what he's done is he's given them a fresh, clean slate. Now we know with Klopp, he had his favourites. He only wanted certain players to play that he enjoyed playing, and he would never, say a bad word about them or ever think about, cussing out the way they play. Whereas we've seen with Slot, he's come in and said, you know what, you guys are playing for your positions. Nobody's position is safe. We saw that in the first game, taking Kwanzaa out. He had a really good preseason. We saw with Carvalho, for example, getting sold after having a pretty good preseason as well. Nobody's position was safe. And I think that gets players to play on a different level. And I think also alongside that, he said, but I want you guys to play your own game, be expressive. We saw with Diaz, last season towards the ends of it, he was playing like Rashford did on the game yesterday, where he'd run forward, look at the defender, maybe do a step over, turn around and pass it back to Robertson.
Yeah.
Whereas yesterday, there was no fear whatsoever. And I think he said, be expressive, but if you lose the ball, you need to go work
Make sure you
hard
come back.
and go and get it back. And I think that is the changing thing in this team. And that what seems to be the new style of Liverpool, to be honest with you. What do you
say
think?
it's a new style. I think when we were dominating and we were, just a point off City and that, I think that is what we did really well. The front three, Mane, Firmino and Salah used to obviously start from the front and they never used to give up. What I think happening now, though, he's getting that tune out of Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, McAllister, and that trio in the centre.
Yeah.
They seem to be the ones that are just literally hounding you. Szoboszlai, I swear, he's started the way he started last season. I know he dwindled off a little bit. I'm hoping this is maybe, I don't know, a new version of him that Slot's maybe motivated somehow. The other thing I was going to mention was you I forgot now. Carry on.
Maybe you're on the Colombian sugar, mate.
I am, man.
I
I'm
think
telling you,
you're
I
on
need some.
Szoboszlai as
I
well.
need some.
No, but I think 100%, like you said, with Szoboszlai there, I think this season he's playing more attacking. He's in a position which I think feels a bit more comfortable to what he was playing back over in Leipzig. He just seems like yesterday he was leading from the front, telling Jota where to go, telling Salah where to go. That is what you want from a midfielder. We haven't really had that for the last few years since Hendo left, since Gini left as well, I think. And for him to come in and make a claim, make a stand. The other thing that I loved is seeing Verge step out the fence. Like I think within the first 5 minutes, he'd come in and he'd clattered Maino and clattered Casemiro and won the ball off him. And it's like this. There's not this fear of if I'm out of position, no one's going to cover me. It just seems like this almost total.
I think that's probably what mentally affected them. That's what they always say, don't they? Get in the first challenge, get in it and get it in hard.
Yeah.
And that usually makes the player think. Well, Casemiro obviously was thinking way too much after he got.
Let's talk about him though, because I think this is maybe what could have happened with Fabinho. I think we kind of saw parts of it towards the end of his last season, but Casemiro's legs look absolutely burnt out. I think Fabinho had the similar issue, someone that obviously played football at a top level, but it's just no words. And does it say a lot about the quality of the Premier League, the hype of these big derby games, or does it say more about the player than anything else?
Do you know what it is? I think there's a lot to be said about bringing in one player and expecting that one player to change a team rather than bringing in a player into a system that suits that player. Casemiro played well at Real Madrid because he had players around him that knew what they were doing. Yeah. And if he did mess up once or twice, he had people backing him up. Yesterday, who backed him up yesterday? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. And I think that's the difference. He's still playing the way he would have done at Real Madrid, but without the same quality players around him. And I think that's basically what's ultimately making him look bad. And don't get me wrong, he's getting old. What is he? Isn't he, 32, 33?
Something like that, yeah.
32, mate. He's younger than me. You know what I mean? I think we look at these players when they're 30 plus and think they're all Bobby, but 32 is nothing. 32 is nothing. Look at Mo Salah, same age. He's probably still, in his position, the best in the world. Yeah. So you can't say he's lost his legs, but what you can say is probably lost his confidence. Confidence in the team, confidence in the manager. Yeah. Hasn't got the same confidence in the players around him. They're in a world of bother, aren't they? United, 100%. World of bother. And we're loving it.
Yeah,
and we are loving it.
Let's talk about how bad they are. Again,
does it take away from the shine of Liverpool winning, though? Them being that bad?
We're going to go back to Liverpool. Don't worry. We'll talk about how good we were. But, let's do their beastie first of all. Because, oh, my God. absolutely awful. I don't think I've ever seen a team spend this much money, a manager buy the exact same players he had at his old club, and still look like they don't have a system of football to play whatsoever. It's been 3 years now, and he does not have a style of football, a system of football that you can look at and go, "That's Man United football." And what
There
made
isn't
me
one.
laugh is videos and Schmeichel talking about the fact that Sir Alex Ferguson was in tears. Or Undasi, that's how embarrassing it is. This is what Man United football is doing to
You know,
him.
I don't want to see a legend like that cry, but you know what? We'll take it when we can. We'll take it when we can. As much as we hate
It's happening quite
United.
often now at United and Old
But you
Trafford.
know
I
what?
think
Do you know what's really good about this United team? Number one, they've still got Ten Hag in charge. That's a really good thing for us Liverpool fans. Number two, the team don't know how to play. I think our five-a-side on a Thursday would probably beat them.
not wrong.
Number three, like you said, he's brought in so many of his own players and backroom staff and things like that. If he does leave,
Yeah.
it's going to take a long time for a new manager to
Yeah.
put their own stamp on that team because they're going to have to get rid of a lot of players.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
touch wood, hopefully this is the United for the next few years.
Yeah. And the one player he probably didn't get from his old Ajax team is one player that absolutely tore him apart yesterday, and Mr. Ryan Gravenberch. Let's just talk about that for a minute because, again, we mentioned last week this fear of, he played pretty well in the first two games, but they weren't against teams that are high fly and high pressure. But I have never, ever seen a Liverpool player, barring Thiago, play the way he did in that position and hold the ball and move the ball and just be an absolute enforcer in there. Have we got our new number 6 without even realising it?
Guys. I know we might be getting a bit too excited, but why not? If he's playing like that and he hasn't had a bad game yet, all we can do is talk about how good he is. There's the Busquets-esque style play from him when he gets the ball with his back to the goal and he turns and he finds a pass. There is a. I'm not saying he's anywhere near as good as Busquets, but I think he seems to be looking at that style of player and think that's what I want to do. I want to be able to receive the ball under pressure, but still be able to turn and still be able to find a pass. And he's been doing it. And like you said, we were dying for number 6. We have been for the last couple of years, but it doesn't look like he likes one number 6, does he? He likes like a rotating number 6.
Yeah.
This midfield that we've got at the moment, you can't pinpoint who the number 6 is.
No.
But you can say that each one of the midfield three that he's put in have been in the number 6 position at some point during the game. So it might be that he's replaced Zubamendi style player with 3 rotating midfields, and that's what I mean. Klopp used to have his rotating strikers, but he seems to have gone with the rotating midfield, which everyone always knows. If you win the midfield battle, that's the biggest battle you got to win in a game.
Yeah. Do you think that was where they lost the game in the end? Because obviously
100%.
we know it was individual mistakes, but I think if you look at obviously the goals that were scored, but the big part, like I said, is a midfield battle. And I know on commentary, Neville and Carragher were going back and forth at each other, and Neville said he wouldn't swap the midfields, but I could not believe what I was seeing.
Nah, he's just United through and through, and he's just
unbelievable, absolute dominance.
You know what it is though? I mean, there's one thing winning the midfield battle and then us pressing and then counter-attacking, but their defence was shocking as well.
Yeah.
Like all right, fair enough. We get the ball off their midfield. Well, but then you got your defensive line that should be there defending.
Yeah.
They seem to be nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the wing backs were too far ahead. They probably thought they were trying to counter-attack our mishap or missed passes. It just didn't happen. Bad day at the office, man. United. I hope we made them look bad rather than they were bad and made us look good, if that makes sense. I don't want anything taken away from the fact that we beat United, our main rivals, away from home. 3-0, clean sheet. And not, I know the stat there, everyone always talks about stats. It looks like they had more possession, but who cares? What's the point of having possession of the ball if you can do nothing with it?
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like you said, it was just an unbelievable performance. And I think no one could have put their fingers on it and said with absolute confidence that Liverpool are going to play like that. But now, going forward, I think we definitely do have this confidence. And especially, again, with a man like Mohamed Salah, who he doesn't stop every year.
Hey, before we get on the positives, let's start on the negatives. What happened to your boy yesterday? A bit of a quiet one, wasn't he?
Who? Jota.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again,
I think yesterday.
No. I think he held his hands up and said, "You know what, Louis, Dulcam Gadla, you know what I mean? Took a day off. I don't blame him. I think,
Took the day off.
don't get me wrong, in the first 20 minutes, he had a few chances. I think Delict had his number in the first half, and I think he did struggle a little bit. But
Nah,
again, this is the
I'm
next
only
interesting
joking.
thing.
Sometimes one of the three has to take a
Has to have a
backward
back
step.
seat.
Yeah, they kind of got to
Yeah.
take the defenders away and let the others free up a bit.
I think,
But,
to be honest with you, Soboslai flew that far forward
yeah, I know.
that Jota was almost covering him in most
Yeah,
parts.
yeah,
But
true.
I think it was a quiet game by Jota standards. But again, I think this is the interesting thing I was going to mention is how is this team going to play when we slot other people in? Like we've seen, he's pretty much named the same starting 11 every single game. He's made the same substitutions every single
same
game.
subs as well. Yeah.
What's going to happen when it changes a little bit? And I think maybe that's where he's still building this system where, you know what, he can say, go on, you play in there, Harvey, or go, Cody, you go play on the wing up there, or
All right, here we
Darwin, you
go
stick
then.
in the
Here we
middle.
go then. Next game is Forest, and then a
Yeah,
few days later we got AC Milan.
yeah,
Most likely you go with your slightly weaker team against Forest because we're
yeah,
at home as well.
yeah.
So come on then, let's go through. Are you keeping the goalkeeper in, or are you going to give
Yeah, I think the
yeah?
defense pretty much remains the same. I think maybe you see a
Would you give
Kwanzaa at the
Keller
back.
a chance against Forest?
Pardon?
Would you give Keller a chance
No
against Forest?
chance. Nah,
No.
forget
Okay.
that. Let's stick Allison. Keep him there.
Does Trent keep his place against Forest?
I think Bradley comes in for that one.
Bradley comes okay. Canate?
Kanate, I think Kwanzaa comes in. I think he'll give him a chance.
Virgil stay because he has to
Virgil
have that rock
stay.
at the back.
Robbo
Robertson
will
or
probably stay. One of the two will stay. Either
Robertson? Yeah,
fullback.
okay. So
Midfield,
central mid then.
I think it will be the same. I think maybe Endo will get a start.
Endo instead of Mac.
No, I think it'll be Endo, Mac, and maybe Sob.
Oh, we keep sobbing there.
And he'll
Okay.
sit Gramba. But this
No,
is
'cause I think
interesting. The slot.
he
He's
likes
a
he
substitute
likes
keeper.
Jones. I think Jones will be
He
back
does
by
like
then.
Jones. Yeah, could be interesting to see Jones in there.
I don't think
I
he'll
think we
change
see
it
Nunes.
fully. I don't think he'll change it fully, but I think he will make a few big
Few
changes
tweaks. Yeah, 100%.
with the main 11 on the bench ready to come on
Yeah.
in case. So Nunes starts then, yeah.
Yeah, I think we could see Nunes, maybe Gatko starting
Cody,
and Salah on the
yeah.
right.
But
Something
then
like that.
is that too much of a change?
I think he's one of those people that he could either start with the normal first 11 that we've seen and then change it throughout the game and we wouldn't be surprised, or he could start with his random 11 that he wants to try and then change it. Either way, he will tweak it in whichever way he deems right, which we didn't see with Klopp. We knew that if it was a game like this, for example, where we had Forest a few days before a Milan game, we knew the lineup we were going to get for the Forest game before.
I think so far, the ones that are undroppable, you got Diaz and Salah up front.
Yeah.
And I reckon he'd put Nunes in.
Mm-hmm.
Soboslai and Grav, I think will stay.
Yeah.
I think, like you said, he might put Endo in or Jones in. Van Dijk, you're not going to drop. Kwanzaa, you could put Bradley in and then bring Trent on if he's... I remembered my point now. I think it would be a good... Anyway, let me finish off this point. I think it'd be a good time to try whether his slot ball works with his B team at home against 100%. Nottingham. It's a good time to try it. The point I was going to make that I forgot earlier was, you know how Salah and the boys were getting upset with Klopp last year when he was taking them off just to save his legs? Have you noticed that Slot's done it from day one?
Yeah.
And he's maybe getting that out the way early. Listen, don't start complaining because this is the way things are going to go and this is the way things are going to be. You lot are going to play 60, 70 minutes. I'm going to take you off. I'm going to save your legs. I don't care whether you're on a hat-trick like Diaz would have been.
Yeah.
You got 60, 70 minutes to do what you want. And then if we're 2 goals plus ahead, I'm saving you because we need you next week.
Yeah.
And I think he's got that into the head. And maybe that's why you said Trent coming off, smiling.
Yeah.
Maybe he knew. Maybe he was a little bit upset when his number got up there, but then realised, you know what? Go. We got another game coming.
I think it's a longevity thing as well. Like you said, last season, the amount of injuries we got in late minutes of games or just stupid little sort of setbacks. I always think back to Jota that missed, half the season a few years back because that one game in the Champions League, which he didn't need to play, ends up missing half the season of football. Same with Luis Diaz, came back, ends up injuring himself again, rushing back. And I think he's avoiding that. I don't know if this is how, his backroom staff work. And obviously there was a lot of talk about, how fit these players are that played for Feyenoord and how, their injury record was pretty clean. So I think maybe this is probably part of it where the depth's there, and they're happy to keep swapping people out. And I think your big players like Trent, for example, he's probably thinking, I don't really want him playing
exactly.
full 90 minutes for no reason, especially when we're winning games, which is fair enough, and we're happy with that, I think.
And he keeps on mentioning. He's mentioned it every single press conference. People are going to be upset now when we've got one game every week. He goes, that ain't going to happen. He goes, these are the only games we're going to have in the season when we've only got one game a week.
Yeah.
Because once they start rolling in, the Champions League games start rolling in. Yeah. And he keeps pointing at the fact that last time we were in the Champions League, like you said, got annihilated in the league. Yeah. Our league position dropped massively. Mm-hmm. And it was due to injuries, and it was due to the amount of games. And I think he is, in his mind, he's already planning 2 games a week, 2 teams a week. I think he's thinking that far ahead, which absolutely amazing. The fact that he's thinking, and you got to probably give some praise to the backroom staff as well, because they probably mentioned it to him. Yeah, and said Klopp used to like using his fixed 11. Yeah, but they ended up getting injured because they played too many minutes. Maybe that's something you need to think about. And he might be a manager that listens more to people around him and takes on their advice compared to Klopp, who was probably more of a, it's my way, it's worked forever, wherever I've been, I'm going to carry on doing what I know is best.
Yeah. But again, 100%, I think this is a new era of Liverpool, new era of how we're used to seeing things. And I love the fact that the fans have been very patient with it. We haven't had any whinging or moaning. Obviously, there's been talks about the transfer window and, the things that we're missing out on. But there still seems to be this confidence and trust in the fact that, things are going right behind the scenes. And, we saw with United when Fergie left, there was this annoyance and this, anxiety. And I think that doesn't seem to be there with all things considered. When you look at the fact that, Klopp has gone now, we've got a new era of football.
We're only a couple of injuries away, though, from people moaning.
Very true. Very true. Again, a few centre-backs down, maybe one injury to Konate. A couple
of our midfielders gone. That trio, that triangle in the middle is done.
Yeah. And I think he probably knows that, especially with a lot of the youngsters that have been loaned out. Obviously, Buchetic just gone. Bobby Clark played a bit of football as well last year. So, Tyler Morton seems to have stayed around for a little bit. So it does seem to be 100%. There's awareness that we don't have as many players, and injuries could absolutely cripple this team. So I think we'll move on to our Mixxy Man of the Match, because we need to talk about who deserves going out for dinner with us this week. I'm very interested with this because I think there can be a bit of debate on who goes this week.
Now, I think we'll both agree on this, even though it's probably not the first or second choice, because I think we need to take Gravenberch for a Mixxy.
100%. We've taken
him. We're on it. We're on it, man. We're on it.
He's got to come again. He's getting mortar, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah. You know what, man? You can give it to Diaz easy. You can give it to Salah easy. But they know what it's about. We need to give it to Gravy. Go get him a bit of gravy. But yeah, man. You know what? Give it to him while he can, because you don't know how long these performances are going to last, but hopefully all season. 100%. Gravy, man, let's take him. He is running the show at the moment.
I might have to bring Alisson along as well, to be fair, because I thought
go on.
He set the absolute tone for that game. Like the saves, just full of confidence. Obviously, stopped Xerxes. That one where I thought, you know what, if they score a goal here, we could be in a bit of trouble. But I think Ali, that man, any time of the week, he can come for dinner with us, because for me, he's just unbelievable in our team.
Go on, as a goalkeeper, do you think would you rather be a busy goalkeeper making loads of saves, or be part of a team that you make 1 or 2 saves, but they're crucial saves?
I think he loves that, and I'd rather have that. Like we saw with Karius and Mignolet, the anxiety every time the ball, came anywhere near him. The ball, genuinely, there could be a shot from about 2 yards out, and I won't feel this fear that it's going to go in. Like that's how much confidence he's instilled, and he runs the game. Like more so than Verge, more so than Trent. Ali runs a game. You'll see him every time the ball gets back to him. He sets a tone. Either he plays a quick pass,
he's pushing him out as well. I've seen him push you.
Exactly. He is the man that controls the games, and I think people don't talk about that enough. And for me,
he's number one in the league,
especially at Old Trafford. Missed the last few games because of injury. Coming back, just unbelievable performance.
Yeah,
and, he's just one of a kind. And I don't even want to think about the day that he ends up leaving. I really don't.
Mamardashvili. That's the day.
We'll wait for him next year to come from Mixxy with us. But yeah, he'll have to wait a little bit longer. So Gravenberch, I'm going to stick with Alison as well to come
Chal,
for dinner with us.
ठीक है.
I know Alison loves a bit of, tandoori, a bit of barbecue, so, he'll enjoy this.
There's that Brazilian meat in it.
That's the one. That's the one. And so let's move on
You know
then.
what we stopped doing? Have we stopped doing it now?
What?
And not that anyone deserves it, but are we going to be doing Chapero or no Chapero this season?
Of course we are, but we've got no one to give it your beer to.
Let's give it to the United team, man. Let's give it to the whole United team.
Forget that. I don't care about them. We
give the
gave
whole
them
team a Chapero and say, go back to where you came from, wherever you know.
I think Diaz gave him enough Chapero. I think Salah gave him enough Chapero.
I think they're doing it on the pitch. The Chaperos are coming on the pitch, aren't they?
We'll leave them to it. We'll save Chapero or no Chapero for the week where, it all starts falling apart.
Hopefully never.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be happy with that. You brought the nudge on us now by doing this, by mentioning it again.
I hope not. We got an international break. We got no chance of losing.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And so let's move on to some mildly sad news about Mohamed Salah. As much as we love him, he's gone back to playing silly buggers again and his future. He mentioned at the end of the game yesterday that this is his last game at Old Trafford. Being it his last season at Liverpool as well. Now, again, he got a lot of money a few years back. I thought we were done with this. I thought he was pretty much set for a career in Liverpool if he didn't go at the sort of, the transfer window this year. What do you think is going on behind the scenes then?
Oh, man, there's so much you can take apart from that interview. Number one, he loves coming out for an interview, because I think he wants to get his opinion out there. Number two, he said, it's my last season.
Yeah.
Maybe his Egyptian translation, that's probably his way of saying, listen, I'm contracted to the end of the season. Technically, this is my last season. But then he added a little bit on the end, which made me think, hang on, is he just trying to get a few more, bucks out of the team? Because he was like, nobody from the club has spoken to him about a renewal.
That's the bit.
And I thought, okay, now when he added that, first, when he said that comment, this is my last season here, I thought, oh, God, here we go, he's decided. But then when he added that, nobody from the club spoken to me.
Yeah.
My desi mind started going, he wants a few pesa. He wants a few rupees on top of what he's already making. Yeah, and I think that's where we are. I can't see why you would leave a club where you are literally a season or two away from being one of their best players ever. Yeah. It would be mind-boggling for him to leave that for. He's already a legend, but it'd leave a sour taste in your mouth, wouldn't it, if he left at the end of the season?
Again, if he left, before this season, before a new project, you'd probably accept it a little bit more. But to be on board, to start it the way he started, and probably have a really good season in the end, to then turn around and say, you know what, I've had enough now. It just doesn't make sense. So 100%. The best are.
I don't think he works in any other team. I think he works well because we've got the team built not around him, but for him, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've been playing in a way that everyone who's got the ball at their feet is always looking for Salah.
Yeah.
So you go to a different club, doesn't matter what club it is. He's not. Yeah. He's not going to get that same respect. He's not going to get the same, feeding from the players. Yeah. I don't. I'm going to put it out there. I don't see him leaving, but Liverpool have got this policy, haven't they, about players over 30 and not offering them too much money.
Michael Edwards coming back in as well.
Yeah, but you gotta you've got to change that policy for someone like Salah, someone who's literally on the verge of being the most decorated Liverpool player.
Yeah,
you've got to go out there and you've got to push the boat a little bit. And the way he's playing at the moment, he's proven that he can still do it.
Yeah,
and he is still, our main man up front. As much as Diaz has come leaps and bounds, Salah's is consistent season after season after season. He's going to get 20 plus goals again, and he'll do it for the next couple of seasons, and then that would probably take him. Would that take him?
I think so. I think he's Rushy? On 218, I want to say, and I think Rush is on about 340. I want to say.
Oh, 340. Okay, he's got a few seasons left.
He's got a decent chunk to go.
Unless he has a couple of Ronaldo seasons or Messi seasons.
I know he's pretty close to Roger Hunt though, so I think he could go second pretty easily.
Yeah, I think he'll get second. I didn't realise Rushy was that far ahead.
So he's got a bit of work to do. Does it worry you though? Because we saw Verge talk about his contract situation and him saying, "Well, this is my last year as well. Whatever happens, I've had a good year. I'm thinking to myself." Same with Trent. Again, not too happy at the moment with
You
everything
got
going on.
Canate and Becca next season as well, haven't they? Because they've only got
So there's a
2026
lot of
contracts.
big contracts that need to be resolved. And again, they've all started getting vocal about it. And like you said, there's a few sort of policies and things like that we know that can be sort of hindrance. What do you feel? Because for me, I think in the next few months, if nothing's been done well before Christmas, then the panic would hit straight through the roof. But at the moment, I feel a bit calm, to be honest with you. But there's a bit of anxiety.
I don't know why. Maybe call his bluff. Say, okay, whatever he's on. Let's say he wants 500 grand a week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, all right, we'll offer you 400, which is probably
Yeah.
what he's on now. But how about we give you 25 grand every time you score a goal?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if he scores a couple of goals a week, he's getting an extra 50 grand.
Yeah.
Now that'll give him motivation to score. That'll obviously improve our position. I'm sure those kind of things are put in contracts anyway.
Yeah.
But maybe just make the bonus a bit more lucrative.
Yeah.
Say, look, we can't offer you standard package a week because of your age, but we'll make up for it in the bonus package.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be something that would work, but we've got to keep him, man. We can't let him go. No. Same with Trent. Same with, you know what I mean? Same with Van Dijk. I mean, I don't know, man. It is a bit of every week there's something to worry about, isn't it?
Just a tad. Even
every
with
week there's something to worry about.
Winning, there's still a bit of fear and anxiety going around as well.
But that's the other thing as well. If Liverpool keep winning and these players keep looking good, then 100% guaranteed that players, teams like Real Madrid might come for Trent and say, all right, we're going to offer you double what you're making at Liverpool because they can do it. And then that's hard to turn down. So I don't know. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah. But we'll have to wait because knowing us, we'll have 2 weeks off for international break and it'll all be signed and sorted and there'll be no need to worry again.
I hope so.
We never actually know. Let's move on then and talk finally about the fact that we do have a little bit of break now. 3 out of 3 big results, joint top of the league. You'd be pretty happy with that. But then looking further afield, our next game, like you said, against Nottingham Forest, and then the Champions League returns. Now, we had a bit of a talk off air about the chaos that is this new Champions League format. But I think it's very, very interesting. I think it makes the games very, very interesting. Now, 4 games home, 4 games away, and overall a sort of points tally and points table is a format that we're going for. What do you think about it? Do you like it? Do you not? We're playing extra games is the only other issue. But for me, I'm sick and tired of watching, City play Club Brugge, which they already are, hammering them 5-0 and going top of the group after 2 games. Whereas now they've got some really interesting fixtures, and so do most teams.
I think that's the reason they've done it, haven't they? Yeah. Just to make it a little bit more comprehensive of the whole tournament and the teams that are in it, and basically having outright top 6 teams. You know what I mean? So you if you're in the top 6 at the end, you deserve to be there because you've played 8 games and you've beat teams from all over Europe.
Yeah.
Not just, like you said, if you're in a group stage and you end up with like 2 or 3 teams that are nowhere near the level you're at, you're guaranteed to go through. Yeah. And then that just doesn't really make any sense. But now you've got, definitely with the smaller clubs, they've got a better chance of progressing because they're not just coming up against these giants that will absolutely annihilate them. Yeah. They're more likely. That being said, though, flipping out, our run's not that easy, is it? We got some decent games. We got some decent games coming up.
Yeah. The return of Alonso to Anfield as well. Very interesting.
That one's probably more of a interesting one than Real Madrid coming.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we go away to AC Milan as well. We got Leipzig as well.
Yeah, we do have Leipzig.
We got Leipzig as well. There's a return of a couple of players there. Who else we got?
I'm not too sure.
Monaco
one. I think we have Monaco, and I think we have.
We had another smaller team. Yeah, I couldn't remember. It's interesting, and it's a one-off game, so at least it feels like a cup competition where every game you're going to go all out, rather than saying, okay, we'll try and conserve ourselves away and we'll play better at home. So it's an all-out competition. So we're going to get some good games.
And you're competing with the teams all around you, as opposed to it just being,
not just your
group or the team behind you. You are fighting against the best teams in Europe, and I think that's what we want from the Champions League. And I think
on paper it sounds good, doesn't it?
100%. I think it'd be interesting to see how it all plays out and how, because I don't know if it's head to head that works out or it's going to be goal difference. No, European leagues, they all work on head to head as opposed to goal difference. So that could be a little bit messy, to say the least. But yeah, I think overall, it's a new fun addition. I think the Champions League
Extra
needed
couple of
updating.
games as well. Extra couple of games.
100%. And we love Champions League games under the night. So we'll take that. We'll take that all the day.
What are United going to be watching?
I think they've got a few different Champions League games. I think it's
Champions
called
League. You're
Europa
having a
League.
laugh.
Europa League, I think it is. But yeah,
It was
they've got
only
some
it was
fun.
only last season they were taking the piss out of us.
I know. Well,
How the tide changes.
the turntables, and they only got that because they won the FA Cup. So we'll let them off for that as well, little rats. But it's all right because they've won the most trophies behind City in the last 2 years, so they're doing okay.
Great.
That's all that matters.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Shall we sum up then? Just give us the last few words heading into the international break. 3 wins, 3 big performances. How are you feeling? How are your hopes for the season now? And are we big fans of slot ball?
Oh, mate, I've been watching slot since the preseason games, and so far there's been no negative word to say about, 1, him as a person, 2, him as a way he's setting his teams out, and 3, how he's dealing with the players, even though he's getting a couple of dodgy reactions when he's taking players off. But I think he's taking it all in his stride. 3 wins, 3 clean sheets, joint top. Only 1 goal away. So, I mean, are we the only team that haven't conceded?
That's the one.
Yes, we are. We're still in all competitions. What negative? The only thing you could say negative is he hasn't got like a Klopp kind of.
He'll find one.
He needs to find one, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He just keeps doing this regal wave at the moment. Mm-hmm. But other than that, he's got a great hairstyle.
Yeah. I think more and more people will end up following the Gunjar hairstyle in the next few years, I reckon.
I'm telling you. Can you imagine if we do get to a final in any cup, you're going to have people wearing the bald head. 100%. There's going to be half the stadium full of bald heads.
Yeah. But I tell you what, he's bringing back style though. You know what? Coming in, he's got his quarter zip on, he's got his shirt on, brings out his jacket. You know, he's got a bit of swag to him. I like that. I respect that. But yeah, 100%. Liverpool.
Calm, very calm, man. I do like the way he talks.
Very calm about it. You know, not many teams and not many clubs can say, 3 games in, pretty much perfect, you'd argue, smashed their biggest rivals away from home, and just looked a complete unit again.
When was the last time we had a manager win the first 3 games?
It must be a very rare thing, to be honest with you. I mean, Klopp didn't, and again, to feel like this.
Was it No, who was it? Who was the manager who won? It was the last time who won the first opening. Wasn't it like Paisley or someone? Or was it?
I think probably was Paisley, to be honest with you. I don't think Roy
That's ridiculous.
Rodgers.
That is ridiculous. That didn't even make any sense to me because I thought we genuinely did okay on the opening days, but obviously not.
No,
obviously
what about
not.
Klopp though? Let's bring it back to Klopp for a sec as well.
Go on,
I missed him a little bit.
Go on.
What do you think this says about him and how much work he'd done behind the scenes to leave Liverpool
massive.
And the squad in such a healthy place? Because we've seen, when Wenger left, when Fergie left, loads of different dynasties, when Mourinho left Chelsea as well, have fallen straight after.
Yeah.
One, because of the air that they brought in, but also the club and everything. The club seems healthy. Everything seems to be in a good position. How much of that is due to him?
This is it, man. You just mentioned all those clubs that had great teams and had great success with their managers, and then as soon as they leave, they just fall apart.
Yeah.
But none of them had the exit that Klopp had. Klopp had a good send off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Arsene Wenger was a legend of the league, legend of Arsenal. He was literally pushed out.
Yeah.
Mourinho sacked.
Yeah.
You got all right, fair enough. Fergie had a good send off. And to be fair, they won the league as well.
Yeah.
But Moisey came in and couldn't do the same thing. So one, you got to big up Klopp. He did leave behind a good team. 2, you got to big up Slot because it's not a guarantee that if you have a good team, you're going to have a guaranteed win. So there's a bit of both, I think. But yeah, man, you can't have a bad mouth Klopp, can you?
No, not at all. And like you said, he's left us in a very good position. We're very happy, and we're going to leave you guys in a very good position. 3 points against Man United, joint top of the league, going into an international break. We thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you after the international break when the Reds we'll carry on marching. And to all the United fans, I'll give you one of these that Trent gave to you after the game as well. Remember that, because it's going to keep happening again and again this season. Thank you, Anna, for joining us as always.
No problem.
We'll see you all next time on the Aapna Reds podcast.
Peace.